For this mod, we're going to begin with the 5611 module that usually comes with a GA2100. This one has a positive display and a clear dial that's also provided by SKXMOD. This will go inside their custom tuna case that is specifically designed for this module. It has these grooves where the notches of the module will go. This will make it easy for you to fit in the module in the right orientation. And of course, if you have worse eyes than Grandmama Pirate, it is good practice for you to look for these notches before you even start fitting this module in. I love it that SKX Mods provides all of these parts in individual plastic containers that keeps all of these components safe, clean, and dust-free as much as possible. Of course, the same care and attention should have been taken when it comes to your hands, unlike this person who's doing it commando style with no gloves and pretty long nails. Next, let's check out the rehaut and index ring. These are the clear plastic variants that they also sell in opaque and metallic versions. SKX Mods provides all the tools that you need, including this blower to blow away all of the dust and other, illegal particles that may be lying on your desk. Now, the first tricky part of this assembly is placing the index ring under the hand. Now, ideally, you should have some sort of adhesive under this index ring and place it on the module before you install the hands. But in this case, I already had the hands installed and I have to carefully insert the index ring under the hands before putting on the rehaut. Notice too that the rehaut has this very particular groove that goes at the 12 o'clock marker of the index ring. Once you have this in place, it is now time to fit this to the case. As you prove that you don't have the memory of a goldfish, carefully lay it on the case where the notches align. Use some sort of tweezing device so that you can push it in a little bit, as this is very snug fit on the case. Now, as you can see in this raw experience that I have, I did not have any adhesive under that index ring, making it rattle all over the place and nearly damaging the hands, and now I have to reposition it again after installing the module. And after 55 million years of fitting it in, it's now time to put on the rehaut, which also requires its own fitting because, again, there's no adhesive in these components. Once you're done with that sadistically fun part, it's now time to test and push the buttons. Like asking your wife what she wants for dinner to see if she's still angry after she discovered that you bought another SKX mod for your collection. To test your module thoroughly, you must put it at handset mode so that you can calibrate all of the hands where they should line up. On this mode, you can specifically align the small hands on the subdial, which is the day indicator. On the hour and minute hand setting, you can hold the buttons on the right to make it spin continuously to the desired point. And here we wanted it to align perfectly on the 12-hour marker, so now you can press upper right and lower right buttons to incrementally move the minute hand to the right position. And once you're done here, you can now take a sip of your Guinness and pat yourself at the back. You're now an amateur watch pirate watchmaker. Use that thing again to blow all the things on this thing again. And it's now time to install that gasket ring. Guys, do not forget this gasket ring, as many of the fittings on this watch will not work without this gasket ring. And of course, this one helps with that 1000 meter water resistance, which is kind of like a big deal. Well, sort of. Next is this large smudge magnet called the sapphire crystal. This is no ordinary crystal. It's slightly thicker than usual and it has a large step to it. Now, many times this would take an extra tool to press it onto the case, but this one is relatively easy to apply. Simply lay the crystal on top of the gasket that you just installed, then apply the plastic ring right on top of the step. Then take the screw ring that screws right around the crystal. Now, this screw ring can be installed by hand initially, and finally, to tighten this up, SKXMOD provided this ring tool that has these convenient notches that catches the grooves onto the ring. This will then make it easy for you to lock it into place. Next, you will now install this click ring that goes around the rim of the case. There's also a hole where it sits, so you can't mess this thing up. It's time to install now the bezel, and in this configuration, I have the stainless steel bezel with the stainless steel bezel insert. Now, there are other bezel colors that you could choose from, so this is a very nice way to customize your tuna. Each bezel ring has this adhesive that would have been nice to have also on the dials and rehaut. And here it keeps the bezel insert into position. There are also some convenient holes around it, so if ever you wanted to change the bezel insert, you can just poke it out of the bezel channel. Of course, you can install the bezel insert first before installing the whole bezel onto the case, but I opted the other way around because I wanted to see the bezel insert align with the 12 o'clock index. And of course, if you have an IQ that's above room temperature, you should already know that you should be careful when it comes to inserting this bezel insert. Lay the insert gently on the bezel channel, wiggle it left and right to align the bezel marker onto the index, and finally press it down. Mind you, the whole bezel is just laying on top of the case. This shroud is the actual thing that holds it into place. This version is the plain bare steel, and SKXMOD provides a number of finishes and colors for you to choose from, including a titanium shroud. This shroud is held to the case by 4 hex screws. Now, these hex screws are iconic to the Seiko Tuna line, and here it has the same kind of impression. One thing to note though, these screws are very soft, and it's a common complaint when it comes to SKX mods, so be careful when it comes to threading them in. Time now to get those spring bars out of the bag, and SKX mod knows that you are very clumsy when it comes to handling your watches, so they added some really thick spring bars for this mod. Of course, the original Seiko Tunas had these really thick spring bars, and of course, we wouldn't have it any other way because the whole watch is built like a tank, and it would be a severe injustice to have a snowflake level spring bar installed in there. And there you go, you now have one of the most unique mods in both the Gshock and Seiko field, and this one is a doozy. It's actually very easy to assemble, and it's definitely easier than the Casio Ultra mod that they sent me a while ago. It really makes use of the Seiko aesthetics and that incredible loom, and at the same time, it gives you the G-Shock accuracy and the functions that you don't normally get on an automatic watch. So now you have another watch in your collection that's overbuilt for the work that you never do, but at least now you can brag about it to your wife that you assembled this over-engineered watch over the weekend. It's now a worthy companion for that bathroom league project that she's been nagging you all year long.